So today I'm going to show you 5 free ways of entering text and dictation on macOS. These are all free. You don't need to buy any expensive software, and they're all available built into your Mac computer. So without further ado, let's get started with method number 1. So method number 1 involves using the dictation feature built into Mac. So to find that, go over to your settings application and go down to keyboard. And you'll see something says dictation. Enable that. Choose your language. I'm Australian, so I've got English Australian as my language. There's things like auto punctuation, which I find useful. And the other thing that's important is the shortcut key. So you can choose how you enable this. I prefer the Shift-Command-D. And what that does is now enable you, wherever you can input text, to press Shift-Command-D. So let's do a little experiment. If we open up Notes, for example, and I go Shift-Command-D, we can now see that as I type, we get text that gets entered. New line. I can now type more text on a new line. Full stop. New line. New paragraph. I can now enter even more text. I can add punctuations like colon or semicolon. New line. And this allows me to dictate quite effectively. So that's the simplest way, or one of the simple ways. What this, however, doesn't give you is control over your computer. So there's another way to do that. So let's move on to method number 2. Method number 2 involves using something called voice control. So for people with disabilities, like myself, who is paralyzed from the shoulders down, I use this to control my computer a lot. But it's also a great form of dictation, and you don't have to have a disability to use it. It can actually enhance your performance. So to find this, go down to settings again. This time we're going to go into accessibility, and we're going to go down to voice control and click voice control and turn voice control on. So this now allows us to, again, choose the language. You've got to pick your microphone input. I use a Blue Yeti microphone. You need a good cardioid directional microphone to make this work really effectively. So that's the basics of what you can do. What's great about this is you can also customize commands. So if I go into commands, I've set up a whole bunch of different personal commands. Like a really great one is you might be typing your email constantly, and pecking away hands-free with email can be difficult. So I created a shortcut here. We can find it called paste my email. And you can see what this says is when I say paste email, when I'm using any application, you can choose any of the apps on your computer, perform a function. And there's different functions. You can make shortcuts for opening files, pasting text, doing various things. I've chosen the paste text, and I'm putting my email. So let's demonstrate voice control. So once again, you can see I'm now in an application that allows me to type. The difference with voice control is I can do things like edit the text more easily. I can say things like press return key, and I move down to a new line. I can say things like delete previous word, delete previous sentence, press return key. I'm now typing a new command. Select typing, uppercase that, So you can see you've got much more fine-grained control over the text that you input. You can also do things like punctuation, full stop, press return key, love heart emoji. And so it enables you to enter text quite effectively. And if you combine it with mouse movements, you can then be more effective. For example, if I want to capitalize something, I can select it with my mouse, uppercase that, uppercase that, capitalize that. So you've got different ways of controlling it. But voice control comes with some other benefits. So you can actually control your computer. So I can say things like open settings. And there you go, see settings is opened. We'll do another whole video on voice control later. But today I just want to show you about dictation. So what I find is this works pretty well, but the accuracy can be a little bit variable depending on the type of documents that you're creating. So let's look at another method. Okay, so the third method I want to show you is something that is built into Google. And so if you go to your website and you've got a Gmail account, you can open up a document. So let's create a new document and a blank document. And right within the tools inside of Google, there's something called voice typing. I can press that and it brings up a little box that I can move around my screen. And I just press that when I want to start speaking. So now you can see I have voice control on. This doesn't give you as much fine control over how you format the document, however. If you say words like full stop, it does do basic punctuation, but it won't, for example, let you highlight a piece of text and convert it to bold. So if I highlight that, you can see what I mean. It overwrites it straight away. So it's a great way and an accurate way of typing. You can talk quite quickly and naturally, and it will correct a lot of your language as you go. And I find I use this if I'm working in combination with my keyboard. So I can bring my virtual keyboard up, go down to a new line, type something, and you can see I'm able to edit a document with a combination of voice typing as well as using my keyboard. So that's something a lot of people don't know about, and it's free, built into Google, and like I said, is very accurate. Okay, so the fourth way you can enter text in dictation, and this one can be useful for anyone, is to use our good old AI overlords, ChatGPT. So if we fire up ChatGPT, there's a little microphone in ChatGPT, and this will listen to you talk. But the secret is then what you do with it afterwards. So let me give you a little example. Let's create a document. The document title is Different Ways You Can Use Voice Input on a Macintosh. I want to create a bullet point list, which has got a list of 5 items. The first item numbered in the bullet point list is using dictation on the Macintosh. The second item in the list is to use voice control. The third item in the list is to use Google Voice Dictation. The fourth one, and the one we're using right now, is to use ChatGPT. And the fifth one, which I'll talk about next, is an application that I wrote. Create a new paragraph. This paragraph is now demonstrating that you can make a new paragraph. Now I'd like a new bold heading, and this heading is new heading, very original. I also can create a table by telling it to create a table with 3 rows and 3 columns, and it will insert that for me. So that should be a good enough test. So once I'm done, I hit stop. What you're going to see is it's going to transcribe everything I've just said. So you might say, well, Chris, that's not the point. That's not what I want. But what you can now do is you can basically say to ChatGPT, take the text I just wrote above and convert it into a formal document following all of the dictation and paragraph settings and customization to make this document look like a proper Word document. And there you go. So now you can see we have the heading that we said. We've got the voice input options, the 5. We have got a paragraph. We've got a very original new heading. And we've got rows and columns. So that's a very simple and very accurate way that you can enter text into ChatGPT. You can copy that, or it's helpfully saying, would you like me to generate this as a Word docx file? So you can open it up. So you could say, yes, go for it. Or you could have used the voice input, and it'll now take that document, create it as a downloadable file, and then I will be able to open that up on my computer. So there you go. There's the docx file. Click that, save it down to my desktop, and that should appear up here as a download. And if I click on that, it's now going to open that in Pages. And there you can see. So a very simple way of getting really fine control over dictating and inputting a document. Okay, the fifth and final way I'm going to talk about today is using an app I wrote called Speechy. This is going to be available very soon. And what it does is allows you to do dictation, and it uses local large language models to interpret what you're saying and correct the output, and allows you to put input pretty much wherever you want. This isn't great for creating structured documents like in version 4, where we talked about using ChatGPT, but it's great for text input in general places where you need it to be accurate. I use this a lot when I'm coding, for example. So we can open up a document, and I can press my shortcut key, which is this, and spacebar key. So we are now listening to me talking, and what's great about this is it can really correct bad grammar. So if I say, things like that, and my intent is to have a formal document that, sounds okay, I guess I could keep talking forever like this, but you get the point, right? So I can move to another paragraph as well, and it won't move to a paragraph, but it will recognize my breaks in sentences, and then I can continue to talk. So let's see how it did. So what you see is a very small delay, depending on how long you've spoken for. And here we go. So what you can see out of this is it's corrected the grammar. So all the ums and ahs and you knows, when I said those kind of things, were automatically taken out. And so it's a nice way of being able to very accurately output what you need. I'll show you the app. So it's up here. I can go into settings, and over here you can see what I wrote, and here's the AI's fixed response. Under the settings, I can choose the shortcut key I want. I've got other settings on which models I want to use. So you can see I'm using Llama 3.2, which is an open source large language model. There's features where I can display the corrected text, the raw input of what I said, or both. I can have a delay in case I want to move the cursor. So yeah, this is a neat little app that I built for myself that I'm going to make available free and open source on the platform if you decide that's something you might find useful. So hopefully you found all 5 of those useful. If you've got any other ideas or ways you can do it that I don't know of, please leave me a comment below, and I'll put another video to add to the list of ways to do this for free. So if someone tries to sell you expensive dictation software like Dragon Dictate, for example, you don't need it. All you need is the free software already built into your computer. Have a great day. Bye.